We came a couple of years ago and it was a really good day out. Jack likes particularly the reenactments and things like that, and he gets to learn a bit and take part.
We are currently working with the UVA Club of London, and we took a trip today out to see this great place.
And celebrate the 4th of July.
I know.
Well, the deal is I mean, because this place is the heritage home of George Washington, which is our first president, and all of us are U.S. Air Force civil engineers, said, hey, you know, we want to celebrate Independence Day in classic American style with hot dogs and burgers, and said, sure, why not? So we come on down.
It's pretty awesome. I'm glad we could do our part. They said they needed some American barbecue, and I'm like, I'm pretty good at barbecuing, let's do it. So I'm here.
We ride Harley Davidson American motorcycle, Sulgrave Manor, ancestral home of George Washington. I came across and spoke to the events team here. Someone put me in touch with them about today. Realised there were some guys coming over from Lakenheath for the day, so thought we'd hook up with them. It's nice to have two chapters, having never met, and build relationships for the future. And it's lovely having a modern, iconic vehicle in front of an old manor house like this here.
We are all members of a group called New France, Old England, which is a reenactment organisation which specialises in recreating life in mid-18th century in North America. The French called their colony in North America New France, and Britain was New England at the time, but it had Old England values, and that's where we take the name of our society from.
Basically, I'm a frontiers person. Canada, probably French, Canadian. That's the one I'm sort of aiming towards with the kit and equipment. This is known as a toque, which is very famous amongst Canadians. They still wear it today when they do their celebrations and on the St Lawrence River, on the in the canoes and that sort of thing. Again, basically civilian kit. Although I have adopted Native American Huron, Abenaki equipment here because they worked alongside the Indians quite extensively. In fact, the French worked alongside the natives probably better than the British did. The British were still very standoffish at this time against native peoples. The French by this time had learned to work with them and learnt their techniques and how to hunt in the forest, which became very beneficial to them when it came to fighting the British in the woodland in North America.
My husband and I are part of the group called Greens Rangers, so we play colonial rangers in North America, Canada area. We actually fight for my husband fights for the British Army, gets paid by the British Army a little bit more than a regular soldier would do. He's used as a scout, what would have been in those days the Special Forces.
I'm pretty much dressed as a Native American would be. This is purely practical. We're wearing moccasins, leggings, or buckskin leggings. These would protect my feet and legs. Also, if you're tramping around in woodland, boots make a lot of noise. These are quieter.
Very much intrigued by what went on inside and kind of the history of not just George Washington but also his ancestors before that.
And even though we're from DC, I'm originally from Virginia, so as a Virginian, fan of George Washington himself, so good to see where he came from.
I've been around, I've toured this house 2 times, and then kind of half of the time I've done a couple of honor guard details out here, so I've been out here quite a bit.
They had a really good tour, learned a lot of really interesting stuff, kind of what the flag really means, and you know, kind of the whole American dollar, the face is backwards for George Washington. Just little neat stuff like that that, you know, we don't know, and it's really interesting.
We've seen a few actors shoot off a couple of guns, and the guns are muskets with a flintlock. It was loud, and it was quite cool as well because you got to learn a couple of the regiments and things.
This is actually an English trade gun. Prior to the war, lots of these were coming into North America before the French-Indian War, and a lot of the Indians adopted these guns, traded these for Indian items, skins and things like that, beaver, which was used for making hats back over in Europe. And so these were used for hunting purposes mainly. Very small bore, it's only sort of like a 22 bore gun, wooden ramrod, very cheaply made. This is actually a replica one, but it's been made by an English gunsmith. Again, flintlock, like most of the firearms you'll see here. Essentially it just works by popping powder in the pan, closing the pan, a main charge down the main barrel with a ball, or in this case, if I'm hunting, with shot, bird shot. And then again, it's just the action of, just like a modern day cigarette lighter. It's just flint striking the steel and off goes the ball.
The encampment we have here is representing a typical 18th century military encampment, which would actually be a mixture of military and civilians as well. Civilians would come to look after the troops. Women would follow, they would do the cooking, the mending, the sewing. Often they would be a wife of one of the soldiers, but they would look after a group of soldiers. There would be a strict control on the number of civilians who could be in the camp. But the encampment we've got around us here represents soldiers of the different types of units that were there. Because we're just one big friendly group, the British are camped with the French here. We're all together to create one campsite. But just looking at the different tents, the stripy tents are French, more style you see than the British. The British tend to be the plain white tents. And then at set times during the day, as part of the actual event, we will actually perform scheduled drill displays, skirmishes. We will give talks about the period and explain the different soldier types. The French, the Canadians, the British, the Indians. It's a very colourful period, the mid-18th century. Troops from all different nationalities are coming together to fight.
Independence Day is America separating from England, and then everyone is come together and happy about it. It's kind of odd in a way, but at the same time it's really nice.
I love the culture here though. A lot different, nice people.
Honestly, driving through the countryside and just getting to see the British countryside, we haven't really spent a day doing that yet, and this is just a great opportunity to do it. No idea how beautiful it was.